Didn't work out,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry to hear that. Sometimes.
She was a bit younger, I'm not gonna lie.
How much younger, if you don't mind me asking?
She was 23 at that time.
And I don't want you to expose your age, that's up to you, but was there a massive age difference?
Yeah, there was a massive age gap. I'm
Sure.
okay with so I was like, fast forward, everything was hunky-dory, beautiful. She got along with my sisters, I introduced her to my friends. So we managed to source her a role in a, it was hospitality catering at a hotel. And it went pear-shaped after that. And after that, my whole life changed. But he would continuously call her in the morning, afternoon, evening, for a good 2-3 hours.
Welcome to our 5th episode. Alhamdulillah, we've done 4 or 5 episodes. Oh, actually, it's the 5th episode now, and we've enjoyed it. Hopefully, you've benefited from the content. I was hoping that because you've benefited, and a lot of people have told me that they've had conversations amongst themselves, it's brought families together, they've had agreements and disagreements. That's what it's all about. It's about you thinking, we discuss it, and then we sort of provoke you to have conversations and ultimately get to the bottom of whatever we're discussing. I've got a kind request from me and the team. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, today is a very, very interesting episode. I've got 3 guests, and the title you probably see on the YouTube screen, International Brides. Fascinating topic itself, and I just want to give a quick historic overview before I sort of dive in. And it's our grandparents, or perhaps your father, if he's an elderly man or he's still with us, or your mother rather, but more so your father, came to this country in the 60s, 50s, perhaps 70s, and what they generally tended to do, the masses, they'd go back home, whether it's Bangladesh, Pakistan, and maybe even India, and they'd find a bride there and then bring them over here. And slowly, as the decades have gone on and on and on, our population has grown, and you did no longer have to go abroad or to your home country or motherland to find a bride. You'd get married in London, in the UK, wherever it may be. But now there's something else that's happening now. We have British men, middle class, working class, British, South Asian men that have ventured overseas again, but not to their home country per se. Yes, that still happens. But they're going over to the Middle East, North Africa, and literally the world's your oyster. So I've got 3 guests today that will be giving their take on what they think about international brides. Some of them will be sharing their personal experiences should they have been married to an international bride or someone from abroad, and others will give their intake on what they think is out there in our domestic population as well as abroad. So moving on to my first guest. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you coming on. This isn't for the faint-hearted. You're going to share your personal experiences, and I promise I'll be as sensitive and empathetic as possible. I recall telling you when I first spoke to you that I don't want to hear your full story because I want it to be as authentic as possible for my audience and for myself, so you get an authentic reaction to me anyway. You got married to a Moroccan girl a few years ago now,
Yep.
to date, and it didn't work out.
Yep.
And I'm sorry to hear that. Sometimes it's for the best. What I want you to do is tell me and the audience, what is it that first was intriguing about someone that's international, how you met her first, and then after that, what made you take the plunge, marry her, and then I'll leave the rest to you.
Cool. It started in 2020, 2019. I had a vacation in Morocco, and I just went with some of the boys. Just a lads trip, just wanted to have some fun. The beach life and just enjoying the vibe really. I stumbled across my ex-wife at that time. We basically spoke, and then I asked her, let's just go to a shisha place and get to know each other a bit more. Long story short, we stayed in touch. I didn't think anything's gonna...
When you say touch, did you come back to London? Or?
Yeah, I came back to London.
Okay, sure.
And then we just had a little conversation, but I wasn't as interested, and nor was she. And I think Snapchat, just like us sharing posts and so on, just got us together talking again. And I said to her that I'll come and visit again. So my second visit this time round, we kind of spoke a bit more, got to know each other, our likes and dislikes, and then I saw a bit of chemistry there, and thought, yeah, let's see if we can make it work. Came back, still chit-chatting. Really and truly, I reflect back and I think, was I in the right mindset? Because early January 2020, so I've only spoken to her for 2 months roughly. Early January 2020, my mum passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No. And I think at that time, I didn't know where my mind was. And what happened was, because I was talking to her, I kind of needed a bit of just warmth.
Yeah, okay.
And then, so we carried on talking, and then in my head, really and truly, I didn't think it's going to work, but it was just nice to have some company and just have someone to talk to as well.
Sure.
Obviously, she couldn't relate to my mum's death because it's such a it's not a norm to have like your mum and dad passing away.
You only have one, right?
Yeah, and then my dad passed away in April, so it brought us, me and her, a bit more closer. And I really and truly, I just felt like I needed someone to talk to at that time. And then we just got really close. COVID happened. We were in lockdown, and then as the lockdown basically eased a bit, I went to Morocco, spoke to her, and we discussed marriage. She was a bit younger, not gonna lie.
How much younger, if you don't mind me asking?
She was 23 at that time.
And I don't want you to expose your age, that's up to you, but was there a massive age difference?
Yeah, there was a massive age gap. I'm
Sure.
okay with so I was, I think, 34 at that time.
Okay, sure.
So there was a big age gap at that time, but I did feel that she had that maturity, and she filled the gaps. She knew her right and wrong morally, so I thought, yep, definitely this is someone that I want to pursue my life with. So I don't at that time I thought this was the right person. We had like a great time getting to know each other.
Sure.
Came back and we discussed marriage, and I told my family at that time. So my sisters, they were a bit taken back at first, like going to Morocco.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, the stigma behind Morocco as well, like Moroccan women.
What is the stigma?
So obviously a lot of guys go to Morocco because they find women a bit more attractive.
A bit more attractive to, as opposed to British,
yeah.
British, South Asian primarily.
South Asian, yeah.
Okay.
And not only that, they're a bit more free spirit over there. Whereas here it was a bit more harder to talk to and approach, and there was a lot of boundaries and a lot of requirements, expectations. So I think over there it's a bit more free spirit, a bit more understanding, and they're a bit more welcoming.
Sure.
So we discussed marriage, and I went in 2021 and we did our nikah. And it was actually a really nice nikah, but I didn't go with my family at that time because I just went by myself. Her family was there. Her family is amazing, beautiful family. And I was kind of taken back by the culture. There was a lot of singing and dancing. And
I heard.
Yeah,
they changed their dresses 5 times. Apparently. Heard,
and it was actually, I was taken back, and it kind of it took me a time to absorb that I'm actually married, and I had a bit of peace inside because half my deen was complete.
Yeah.
It went amazing. Obviously she was a Moroccan national, so to bring her to England was going to be, I had to make a visa application.
Sure.
But what I did straight away after we did the nikah, I went on vacation with her for roughly about 6 months. So we went travelling.
That's nice, eh?
Yeah, during
Can
COVID.
afford it? Oh, during COVID, yeah.
During COVID, it was very difficult to navigate around the world.
Sure.
Because you have to do PCR tests and so on. And some countries they were charging a lot. But I actually felt that I got to know her a lot more during the holiday.
Prior to marriage?
Yeah, prior to marriage. And I think I rushed into it at that time. But yeah, we went to Thailand, we jumped cities after cities, boat trips to different islands. We went to Cambodia, Korong. It was really amazing. I still have sentimental memories of that. But I truly got to know her a bit better. And I did have a different perception from before I got married to after I got married. Nothing too negative, but I just thought, okay, we can work on things. I came back to England. I started working. She went back to Morocco, made the visa application, and she came to the country.
Sure.
Straight away, I introduced her to my family. went really well, really positive, and we arranged our wedding day in Morocco, where 3 months, fast forward, everything was hunky-dory, beautiful. She got along with my sisters, I introduced her to my friends, and then so we had a big wedding in Morocco.
How much did that cost, just out of argument's sake? How much was it?
I lost count, to be honest, and it wasn't as expensive as UK.
Right.
UK you're looking at 40-50 grand. In Morocco it's more like 20-25.
And did the bride's family chip in, or was it you that
I
the entirety of it?
Yeah, I just felt comfortable paying for it at that time.
Well, if you can, why not?
And Morocco's a third world country. I didn't want to pressure her family or anything like that. And I felt I wanted to get married to her. Money didn't mean anything to me at that time.
You loved her?
Yeah, yeah. And then so we actually had a really amazing wedding. I invited 50 of my friends and family over, and she did as well. The wedding went really well. But she had a lot of high expectations and demands for the wedding, and I wanted it very kind of low key at that time. But I understand, weddings are like come once in a lifetime. Well, I thought that at that time. And
a girl's dream.
Yeah, yeah, and I completely understand. We came back to UK, and then things were going a bit sour.
So you brought her over by now?
Yeah.
So you've done the visa application?
Yeah, so we then had the wedding and in Morocco, and then we came back to UK, and I said, right, we've gone travelling, paid for the wedding, I'll let you settle down for a couple of months, and then we'll start looking for a job for you.
Okay, so she stayed with you and your parents, or do you live by yourself?
I live by myself.
Oh, so she stayed with you.
Yeah.
This may sound insensitive, so forgive me, but I have to ask this. So when she was granted the visa, was it on a temporary basis or it's indefinite? She's a British citizen now because she's got a British spouse.
It's basically 5 years.
5 years,
so how it works,
okay.
yeah, but you renew after 2.5 years, because she's my wife at that time.
Right.
So it's it basically the application gets like permanent once after 5 years.
After 5 years.
Yeah.
So you've got a 5-year buffer.
Yeah.
And should anything happen in that time, her visa gets cancelled. Okay, all right.
Cancelled.
And I'm not trying to be insensitive because it seems genuine, right?
Yeah.
You know, you could, with all due respect, you're a handsome
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You could get women here. If you were ugly, then I'd be like, maybe. But yes, go carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And so I just basically spoke to her saying, okay, let's see if we can find you an employment position. I work in this environment, so I can support her. Made some applications and got her a Christmas temp job. And it was retail, and I think after like a few weeks, I saw the strain it was causing her on her feet, because it's a new environment, new life. All of a sudden, she's thrown in the deep end working, and I could see it's taken a huge burden on her. So I kind of asked her to just leave the job, just because I had that love for her, and I didn't want to see her in pain every day, coming home being so upset and miserable. So I said to her that we'll find you another role where it's a bit more, it's a bit more office environment. So we managed to source her a role in it was hospitality catering at a hotel, and it went pear-shaped after that. And after that, my whole life changed. Before that, I have sentimental memories that I had actually a really good life. We got along, my family, her family, we had an amazing chemistry. When she started working,
The second job,
he exposed her to a different culture, a different meaning of life.
more British life.
British life, and that's something I wasn't aware of at all. So she started working, and the culture when you're working in the hospitality catering industry is obviously you go out for work, drinks and so on. I kind of spoke to her about that, just be careful, and I'm not gonna I don't want to dish out my laundry.
Sure, yeah, don't, yeah.
But I saw inappropriate messages from her management team, because she's a pretty girl.
Sure.
And I kind of asked her stop that. They wanted to meet her up on a one-to-one basis. And I asked
So management wanted to meet up with her?
Yeah.
So her direct line managers?
Yes, yes. And I'm a manager myself, and
Sure.
I kind of know they're pushing the boundaries. And I saw the inappropriate message they were sending, and it was almost like grooming her.
And she thought he was innocent?
she thought it was completely innocent, and like, I'll pardon her for her naiveness, but yeah, I knew what the managers were doing. And then they asked to meet her up. I questioned her and said that's very uncomfortable. And she was like saying it's innocent. She's had male friends in Morocco, nothing's ever happened. And I was like, okay, cool. But I still put a stop to it. So I felt really uncomfortable, and we started arguing about the same topic over again for continuously for about 2-3 months. I'm just saying I'm uncomfortable, and she started going out more and more.
So she went out partying. Did she go out partying particularly, or just
till this day I don't know?
So after work,
yeah,
not
after
drinks.
work,
Presumably she doesn't drink, but
yeah, she does. Yeah,
but she goes to those events.
Yeah, she was around that environment, and you are the circle you keep.
Absolutely.
And so eventually I told her that I don't like this job. I prefer her to leave. This is just to basically protect our marriage because I feel uncomfortable, and I knew the management was trying to get her into bed, in other words.
And how did you? I mean, how did you keep your temper? Really,
the thing is, it was very difficult. I didn't really speak to anyone, but I really wanted this marriage to work, and I kind of was chasing a marriage, and I didn't want to be a disappointment to my family, my friends, and I didn't want to be that guy that went to Morocco, got married, and became a laughing stock where his wife left.
You're definitely not a laughing stock.
So I don't know, but
I don't think you are now.
So it was Eid coming up, and we decided we were going to get a villa for her family in Morocco. And we went to Morocco, but before that I saw a massive change in her. She didn't want to, our anniversary was coming up, she wanted to hang out with her work colleagues, and there was a lot of emphasis on her manager. She kept mentioning how her manager's amazing. Once she said her manager did quad biking, wow, and I was like, jeez.
Did you take a Bali and Cambodia?
So, but the thing is, I just think she was groomed at a young age by management, and at that time it's like a brass ring where you're just chasing from a promotion and respect. So I think they kind of manipulated a lot of things with her. So I won't entirely blame on her, because at the end of the day she's a married woman. Anyone would just leave them to it. But I think how the world is right now, people find married women a bit more enticing. So as we're going to Morocco, and we've booked a villa with all her family, and I wanted to spend Eid with her family so I could kind of migrate a bit better with them and understand their
So
culture.
you're the doting son-in-law, you were doing everything right.
I tried my best, I would say. I tried my best. So as we're there in Morocco, we went shopping and grocery shopping for the villa, and I don't really speak about this because I try to suppress these memories. So I always wanted to grab her phone and find out who's messaging her, because she's always on her phone. So as she's basically doing the grocery, I'm doing my grocery for the villa. We accidentally swapped trolleys, and I took her trolley, she took mine. Once I went a few hours, I realised what I did, and I was like, oh shoot, I better return this back. Then I saw her bag, and then I saw her phone just coming out. So I just opened her bag, went through her phone, and thought, let me just see the messages. Opened the messages, nothing was there. And I then saw archive, and I was thinking, let's just check the archive. And I went and clicked the archive, and saw a message from the manager. And it had loads of messages that I suppressed, kind of intimate messages, things I wish she said to me. And yeah, at that time, it's I never want to be in those positions again. My legs started completely numb, and I didn't know what was going through my head. I had to sit down. I had a bit of tears coming down, and I was thinking, what the hell, is this actually real? Is this actually happening to me right now? And I thought I need to confront her. So I went and confronted her, found her, and I showed her her phone, and I was distraught at that time. And I said, is this true? Is this true? And she said, she tried to disappear through the aisles, and I just said that I'm going to the car, let's talk. Comes to the car, she starts blaming it on me. straight away, saying I didn't give her attention. It doesn't mean anything, and so on.
And was it, again, you don't have to answer this question, but I'm going to ask it, was it merely text messages or did it go beyond that?
It was text messages, and then I knew they were speaking on the phone, because every time I came home, she would basically be speaking to him, but then she'll make it look like a work kind of call. But I knew the tone would change straight away, and really and truly, I knew something was going on, but I didn't have enough evidence. But I was hoping I could change her and make her possibly fall in love with me. And it was one of those things that I was trying my best to try to win her heart. And I felt like I was fighting against someone that just wanted to take her to bed, in other words. So yeah, I spoke to my family.
So, sorry, so you're at the supermarket, you went to the car, you had a verbal altercation. Did you bring her back from Morocco?
I left. I was really broken at that time. I left and I went to Marrakesh because I just wanted to catch a flight back. And I took my luggage and I realised that we brought one luggage together. So her stuff was there and she was calling me non-stop. She wanted her stuff. Her passport was inside there as well. So eventually I had to go back.
Sure.
Her brother was calling me, trying to mediate it. I spoke to some of my friends and family, and one of my friends called me saying if marriages has difficulties and it's important you try your best to give it a second go and overlook it. My family kind of supported me as well, so I went back. When I went back, I actually thought that she's going to ask me for forgiveness. What happened was she seemed very angry for some reason and playing the victim. And
classic manipulation techniques.
So I went and then I saw her and I spoke to her brother and I said, no, I'm not going to make this work. Okay, if her behaviour is like that. And then her brother asked me, please just give her another chance. And I did eventually. But what I didn't know is how mentally it would have impacted me. We came back and she stayed back because she had to go and fix her teeth in Morocco, the dentist, so she stayed back. And because I had so much trauma with the inappropriate messages, I kept messaging her, finding out if who she's with, is she okay, is she messaging so and so, has she and I asked her to leave her job. So I had a lot of insecurities at that time.
Naturally,
and eventually she came back, and as she came back in the airport, she was in tears. And I didn't understand why she was in tears. I thought, here you are, you've just seen your husband, you're going to be welcoming with a warm hug. But didn't understand, she just said it was a long flight, so I was like, okay, cool. And the next 2 months was terrible. Really, really difficult. I found it very difficult to leave her side, and this is my doing because of the trauma of her with messaging and so on. I felt that I had to just keep staying around her in case she's talking to someone, and that's a bit of my fault as well. And I was working from home at that time, so we're next to each other all the time. She had a different lifestyle as well. She'd wake up really late, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So she stopped working at
she
this
stopped
time?
working, yeah. So she was basically waking up 2-3 p.m. And then she had this friend in Morocco, a guy mate, and then she claimed that they'd been friends for a long time.
And you didn't know about this?
I knew he was just part of her life, but I didn't know that they were best friends at that time.
Is he gay or?
No. But he would continuously call her in the morning, afternoon, evening, for a good 2-3 hours.
And this happened since you were married to her?
Yeah, since
she was speaking to the manager as well, and she was also speaking to him as well?
Yeah, so she was speaking to him. This is how naive and maybe you could call it desperate I was, trying to make this marriage work. Because every time I raised my concerns, she kind of fobbed it off, saying that I'm insecure, I'm paranoid, I need to be more confident, and so on. So this manager disappeared. She's kind of moved away from him. But then her relationship with her friend, and I won't say the name, but her relationship with her friend just got more and more intense. And eventually, I kind of asked her, this needs to stop. There's a lot more emphasis on him than me at the moment. like, and at home, how our daily life was, because I was really trying to make it work. I was doing all the housework. I would come home from
Would
work.
she cook for you?
Like, it was rare for her to cook, but I thought, right, she's gone through a lot of stuff at that time, so I would be doing the cooking, the cleaning. She would help out.
And work as well.
I was working as well.
You're a Superman.
Yeah. But I really wanted the marriage to work, and I thought to myself, sometimes you have to go up and beyond to do what you have to make it work.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah, so like and she needed finances, so I was funding her. So I was giving her substantial amount of money to support herself for like makeup and this and that.
And with that money, was she supporting her family back home as well? Were they well off back home?
No, they're good, but I did ask her to support her family as well.
That's good. Yeah.
It's a conversation she didn't welcome, and it's something that I said I will support them as well if I can. But yeah, so it got really sour because we were arguing quite a lot, and I had a lot of trust issues. And it was Halloween, and she wanted to go out, and I said we'll go out together. She wanted to. The thing is that I had to like merge into her culture of way of thinking as well, because I'm like old enough not to celebrate Halloween and this.
Why
and
was
that,
it different? Because what's remarkable here, and sorry to interrupt you, is that she's from a second, third world country, right?
Yeah.
And it's completely. I get, the whole world is westernized now. You've got the internet, so the fact that she sounds like a very liberal, westernized person.
Yeah.
So she's come over here. It's nothing new to her. She may be exposed to it, but it's as if she's had this back in Morocco as well. It's not something she's actually doing for the first time.
I think this is very common in Morocco, like the lifestyle, being outgoing. They have a variety of shisha places, which like shisha place bars, and it's become very cultural over there. So I was obviously she wanted to do Halloween, and I was like, yeah, sure. So we went out for Halloween. We went to a shisha place, and she was very disgruntled. And it was very hard to please her at that point, because anything or everything I was doing, it was never enough. So I always felt like I had to go do something else different every day. I was overthinking, how can I please her? And then we were supposed to go out on that Monday afterwards, and she said she wanted to go out with her friends. I said that's fine, because I had to kind of give her some space.
So at this time she's got a circle of friends or a big network?
Two of her friends came from Morocco, and they basically just like settled, and she started befriending them a lot, because maybe she needed some friends outside, and I completely understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's fair as well, because I've got my friends. I was born and bred in this
And you don't
country.
want to.
Yeah, I don't want to like just be next to her all the time. So she went out, and I had work. She came home really late that day, and I had work the next day, and I really didn't accept that. But if I was to say anything, I felt that it was she brought this culture on. Every time we argued, she'd walk out the house and pack her bags. So I felt hostage that if I was to mention anything about her, any guys that she's talking to, or like where she's going out, she would walk out straight away. So I had to be very mindful of how I deliver things, and I thought when we're at a neutral state, like a couple of days later, I'll mention it and say maybe this is like a pet hate for me. Like I really dislike this. Try to be gentle, take the gentle approach. So the next day, I asked her how was it, and she basically said, yeah, there's a few guys that came and approached her, and I was like, okay. I was like, she said, but they're like they're not straight. So I was like, okay, cool. And I said, oh, she goes, she just got their a number. And I said, oh, okay. Can I see these? Can I see a picture? And she was like, oh, it wasn't a number, it was a Snapchat. And I was like, okay. And I really didn't want to argue, so I left it. I went to the bathroom, and I was overthinking again. And then I came, and I had her phone in her, I found it on the sofa, and I came and asked her. I said, do you mind if I go through it? There's nothing to hide. Do you mind if I just go through it? I know your password already. I can literally go sneak through and go through it, but I thought I'll do the respectful thing and ask you. And that's when she said no. She was like, nope, you're not going to go through my phone. You're being paranoid. And I said, if you've got nothing to hide, show me like your messages. And I didn't want to come across like those husbands where I have to basically, I'm trying like controlling or anything like that. Yeah. So I'm being very mindful. And I said, if like obviously I just want to see who this person is. And she was like, nope. And just that was it. that was the last argument we had, because she basically did not want to give her phone, and I said, this has happened previously, okay, like, if you've got nothing to hide, my phone is here. Yeah, I'm very transparent on who I message and whatnot. You can always go through my phone. And when you're in a marriage like that, you need to be very transparent with each other. That you shouldn't be hiding your phone or anything like that. And yes, she didn't want to show it, and I got really angry at that time. It was a really heated conversation, and then I walked out because I didn't want to escalate things. I came back, and she was in the other room, and I kind of sent her a message saying, I really want our marriage to work, but if our marriage is going to work, we need to focus on a few things. We need to focus on religion. We need to stop living life on the fast lane, like going out and spend more time together. And we need to basically look after each other as well. Is this something you want to do? And she just replied back saying, no, this is not what you want to pursue. And I couldn't do anything after that. So
did she go back home?
So she packed her bags and she walked out. And at that time, I thought it's just like she's a bit upset. We'll work on it. So I started messaging her. Thing is, I had Dubai booked in a few weeks, and then so I mentioned, hey, we've got Dubai booked. I need to sort out your visa. Please come back. I spoke to my friends, like just for help, my family, and they were like saying try to contact her. She didn't. She wanted to end things. In other words, I did beg her to try to make the marriage work.
Even after that?
Even after that, because I thought to myself, it's marriage, it's not a relationship. I can walk away from a relationship, but marriage is kind of sacred. Like, it's very important to me, the values, and I thought we can pass this stage. Like, I know she's had male friendship, and they've kind of groomed her to conditioned her brain to think that she can just walk out from a marriage, and I know they were booking the hotels for her to go to and so on. So yeah.
These are friends from Morocco that have come over.
Yeah, this is one of her guy mates that she.
Guy mates?
Yeah,
the one that's spoken to her, speaks to her 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah, non-stop. And yeah, so she walked out, and yeah, I didn't take it that well, I'll be honest with you. I had a mental breakdown. I reflect back, and I had a mental breakdown because I felt like I lost a lot of like respect for myself, and I wasn't sleeping at all. I couldn't sleep, so my insomnia came back, and I think I was averaging sleep about 1 hour, and I stopped eating as well. Yeah, like I literally was I was waiting for her to change her mind and try to come back and make it work, but it never happened. I had a really bad mental breakdown where I lost my confidence completely, and I kind of blamed it on myself. I was like, maybe I put on weight, maybe I'm not good looking, or maybe it's not like maybe it's the guy she wanted. I don't look like them. So I started asking so many questions about myself.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my job. Maybe I don't reach her expectations. Maybe I don't have aspirations that she wants. Maybe I'm not one of those guys from Dubai, like the Prince Sheikh or whatever, the lifestyle she wants. And yeah, I fell into a spiral of low esteem, low confidence, and my friends and my family had to shake me up and had to break my door down just to reach me. And yeah, and after that, it took at least about a month and a half just to get out of bed and focus on life again.
And within that time, did you completely break off with her, as in there was talaq, divorce?
Yeah. No, that's still ongoing.
Okay.
It's not very straightforward because it's like international marriage and so on. But it is one of those things that I reflect back, and I think I maybe jumped into that relationship, that marriage, because I had a bit of trauma with my parents and my nephew passing away. And
Did you say nephew, sorry? Or?
Yeah, I had my 5-year-old nephew passing away in 2020, so I had my parents and my nephew passing away.
All in the space of how long?
A year, 11 months, yeah. So
tragic, sorry, I'm sorry for
no,
that.
it's okay. So I think I needed comfort at that time, and I reflect back, and some of the things that happened in our relationship, marriage, I look back and I wouldn't bat an eyelid, like it won't go right now, but I think I've been chasing a goal or a lifestyle so much and trying to make it work that I lost respect for myself and tried to make something happen when it was never going to.
It was never going to.
But I do think she was groomed. She was young.
I mean,
she has to be accountable for her actions as well.
yeah, absolutely.
And I don't have any animosity between like us. I think I thank God that where I am right now. But yeah, like you live and learn.
Thank you for sharing that story. I think you're being humane to understand the sort of pains you've gone through, but you seem like you're very good now. You're good to go, raring to go now, and I'm glad that you are. One of the few things that I'd like to ask, obviously she's not here, I'm going to sympathise with you, but I'm going to be just.
Yeah.
She was a very young girl.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how she is now, but at the time, 24, 25,
She's 26.
26.
Yeah.
She's 26 now. So the age thing was always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, in the 21st century, and there's been many studies that have been done about this, that 25-year-olds now are actually 18-year-olds 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So perhaps that could be one of the many reasons that she's
100%.
young, wild and free. And I would say that perhaps when she saw a handsome man like yourself in Morocco, British, tanned, this may be a token in, and he's good looking as well. I can go to their country, and let's see what happens. Perhaps she was fickle. Perhaps she did love you, and then she fell out of love. And I think, from your perspective, and I'm no professional at this or anything like that, but you were so emotionally invested. You invested too much to come back out again, and you're sort of in a catch-22. In terms of culture, I'm glad you let her go, by the way. But if she was here, I'd question her, but good riddance. In terms of,
can I just add,
sure.
there's always two sides to a story.
Sure, yeah.
So obviously, like, this is my perception of what happened.
Yeah.
She probably has a completely different story, and everyone can play the victim and the hero in their side. So like what I say is just my perception.
Well, I'm being objective. I don't see how you justify. And we're from conservative cultures, whether you're North African Arab or South Asian. Period. I don't think there'd be any person, any family in Britain now, you knock on the doors and say, I've been born in London, born and brought up in London. I've got girl mates. I keep it respectful and keep it within the parameters that we should. I will never invite my girl mate into my house unless it's my Mendy. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't within our culture. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It's a massive taboo. So the fact that she's messaging first-time manager, perhaps impressionable, naive, she wants to get ahead. She's in a first-world country. I get that. But then this sort of holding your hostage tactics, walking out the house, I'm leaving you. You're paranoid. You're naive. It seems like sort of textbook 101 manipulation. Anyway. Thank you for sharing your story.
No.
I'm glad that you're right. You seem fine.
Yeah.
And retrospection and hindsight life is a learning curve, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Alhamdulillah. Two quick questions, right?
Sure.
In terms of integration, so even though she's Moroccan and you're British Bengali, yeah, Siliti, yeah. So our culture, we're quite not entrenched in our culture. We're adaptable because we are British, and that makes a massive difference. How did she integrate with the culture? Because you've mentioned that you integrated with her culture, and you did your part, but did she try and integrate with your family, or did it sort of, when she was in love with you, she was all, mum's coming, let's cook for her.
Yeah.
And then when she fell out of love for you, perhaps, she just sort of distanced herself. Was there any integration, or was there a conflict there? And I'm talking from a holistic perspective rather than her particular.
No, I give props to her, because when she first came in to the country, she did want to help out, as in she, like cook, clean, meet my family, like integrated, and it was actually going really well. And I think, I don't have a negative word about that. When she first came into the country, I think the culture changed, and this is something that people need to be aware of, that the Moroccan culture and the culture in the UK and South Asian is very, very different. So, and age plays a part, okay, because I've evolved to a point where, like, going out and so on, I'd rather sit home, have a cup of tea, watch a bit on Netflix, whereas their mindset is very different, and I don't blame them at all, because when you're 25, you still have your world ahead of you.
Absolutely.
So culturally, she was very involved with my family, but then it kind of changed when she started work, when she started seeing the British culture, being outgoing, bars, friends, how single people talk.
Sure.
So there was a lot of things that changed in her, but what was really shocking to me is how quick it happened. In a space of pretty much 2 months, I didn't recognise my ex-wife from like when she started her work, because all of a sudden she had very boisterous, very argumentative, empowerment. She was right. Her work people, what they said goes. Her philosophy of life was completely different to mine, and I think that was instilled from the people she hanged around with. Because
well, the manager definitely had an ulterior motive here.
Yeah,
he definitely wanted to break you apart.
Yeah,
and props to you that you didn't get violent. Props to you. I'm not advocating violence, but hats off.
I think with her manager, if she had something that was bothering her, she would go speak to probably her manager, and he would portray me as a bad guy and reflect him as like he's the hero in the story. So he kind of basically conditioned the brain to say that I'm the bad guy, he's the good guy, try to make you work with him and so on. And I think that's like narcissistic behaviour from him. But yeah, it's one of those things that...
Evil! Yeah. I mean, sorry, evil. Very evil. I want to wrap this up. This has been very palpable. I will come back to you, and I don't want to delve into your particular situation, but I've got 2 questions for you.
Sure.
In my honest opinion, I don't think it was a scam marriage. I did think she did love you.
Yeah,
I did think she came to settle with you. I do think it was real. Do you think it's a scam marriage?
No, I think it was real. I just think she was manipulated and conditioned and groomed by people that didn't understand the meaning of marriage and the value behind it. So I do think it's genuine, and I do give her credit, but I think the lifestyle in UK took over, and the people in the background, I say the devil whispered,
Yeah, there always is a devil. Finally, and I think you're the man that had to go through this. If you were to go back, we shouldn't regret things, we learn from things, right? For me, if that was me, the age would be a massive alarm for me. Yeah. She's like a baby to me, and like you said, she seemed that she had the right temperament. Yep. And you connected. Ultimately, you connected, right? You connected, and fireworks. If you were to go back now, would you have sort of magnified the age? Did you? I think that's a big sort of red flag. I mean, it does. Why couldn't it happen, right? And perhaps it sort of fed your ego. You've got a very, a 23-year-old that's very very pretty, and you're a 34-year-old man now.
Yeah.
So were you blinded by that, the age, and you didn't factor in the fact that she's going to change inevitably, and she's still a young-ish, and you're a fully grown man?
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, I'm still younger than you now. Does that make sense?
I don't blame you on the age. I think the age played a factor when she came in the UK.
Okay.
And who her circle of friends was. I blame her on maturity, and I do blame myself as well, because I allowed some of the stuff to happen because I was so eager for the marriage to work. So I'm not going to entirely blame it on her. I should have not let a lot of things happen, and I should have put a stop on
it.
Yeah. But I felt that I really was desperate to make the marriage work, and I didn't want to come across as a joke that I went to Morocco, got married, and
Hats off. I definitely don't think you're a joke. The fact that you came out here in public and said your story without pulling punches, without any filter, immense respect. $1 million question. Would you marry again an international bride? Or you're done?
I think I'm done. Not in a negative way. I just think that I'm at that age where I don't have many years, so I can't cherry pick. And I want someone to get along with my family, that understand the culture, look at like goals for like buying properties, traveling abroad. I don't have time to basically get someone culturally intact with the lifestyle here.
So someone that can automatically synchronise with you from a cultural perspective, from a British perspective, you haven't got the energy to sort of... I get that. Yeah. Well, if I find someone suitable, I'll definitely bring them your way. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing.
No worries. Thank you for having me.